Hi, I'm Asha, and you'll be able to catch me on the LITE Morning Breakfast show. And to find out a little bit more about me, not saying that you want to, but if you did want to, come with me as I take these little mutts for a walk. So he's about to be 14. I call him Ziggy, his nickname is Ziggy. And he's super special because he knows how to cook, which is so good. And he's a really sensitive soul. So we have a lot of really interesting conversations about life, about death, about the meaning of things. So I guess from pretty early on, my job as a mum was pretty taxed in the sense that I had to broach very difficult, very deep conversations at a really young age. I remember he was 3 years old and he was asking me why he couldn't wear 2 different shoes. He wanted to go to kindy with 2 different shoes. At this time he was wearing Crocs, like thingies, the plastic shoes. And he wanted to wear one shoe from one pair, one shoe from the other pair. And he wasn't throwing a fit like, a 3-year-old might throw a fit about wanting to wear what he wanted to wear. He really was interested as to why it was a rule or why there was that thing there where you had to wear matching shoes. He couldn't understand it when the point was you're wearing shoes so your feet don't get hurt. Shouldn't that be enough? And it was these kind of challenging conversations that made me realize that how his brain works is super different from a lot of the kids that I had interacted with. So I'm not saying he's more special or anything like that, but it was very different from the kids that I was exposed to. So it had me on my toes all the time. And also being a kid, who struggles with dyspraxia and other things on the spectrum, that also kind of came into the mix of realizing, I think very early on, that he was a unique individual. He wasn't my property. There was this little creature that was his own person, and I had to figure out how to work and live with him. So that was a very interesting thing, and I think that's what makes him super interesting too. I think the biggest challenge is other people's opinions that they think and believe I need to hear. I'm not interested. I never have been. So I think any parent struggles and has their ups and downs and their wide range of issues that they're facing with their particular child, right? And I don't think there's such a thing as a cookie cutter sort of parenting system, despite books out there telling you how to get your kid to sleep and all these things. They're all, what's the phrase? Snowflakes, they're all individuals, right? So I think you've got parenting challenges, which everybody faces, and then I think you've got single mothers like me who face unnecessary extra stress and stigma and opinions of other people, from taxi drivers to people in shopping centers to doctors to government officials who, when you go and pick up your child's passport, insist that the father is there, or when you say that's not possible, demand or don't want to give it to you, and you end up sort of shouting in that place at the person because they're being just bloody rude. I am so privileged and fortunate to have the position of having a voice about this, and I've never ever felt ashamed, and I've never ever been one to back down from somebody casting their opinion or judgment on me about being a single parent. But that doesn't mean it wasn't difficult. It isn't difficult, or doesn't mean it isn't difficult still. And I think for a lot of women out there, it is a huge extra load of crap nobody needs when you're raising children, which is tough enough by itself. I think my hopes for my son when he's all grown up are the same hopes that I have for him now, that we constantly talk on, that he develops enough sort of skills and tools to keep himself on track and to recalibrate and to understand that happen. Can I say just gonna happen? And it's, how you sort of manage that, how you go through it and stuff. And I think that all I ever wish for him is for him to be able to figure out and to trust himself and believe in himself that he's going to figure it out, whatever needs to be figured out. And I think that's all I care about, really, because everything else is, well, life gets in the way of best laid plans. Favorite memory, God, there's so many favorite memories. I think my absolute favorite memory, which sort of repeats itself and did repeat itself daily, was the favorite time of day was reading stories at bedtime. I think that's my favorite memory of no matter what happened during the day, no matter if I still had work to do or stuff to do, no matter if I had a house to clean. And even though sometimes those things made me want to read the shortest story possible just to be able to go and get them done, once we'd snuggled in bed and we got out the 2 or 3 storybooks that we were going to read, the world just fell away, all the problems just disappeared, and it was just us two kind of bonding and having fun in Storyland. I think books are so important, words are so important to children to sort of expand their mind and their imagination, and I think that those were the most precious moments of my life with him and will always be, I think. This is a hard one because, you know, I am surrounded and I have surrounded myself with people who are supportive. I have not had to go and clean offices or work in jobs where, you know, I'm already kind of invisible and I'm struggling with all of these things and having a child to look after by myself, or in an office job where I'm running a company or, you know, upper management, and I'm expected to show up and do all these things that they expect a man to be able to do, which men do because they don't look after their children very much, I have to just say. I know this is going to spark a lot of controversy out there, but I'm going to be honest about it. You know, it's always left to grandparents or parents or mothers or whatever. I think those women face a lot more things than I had to face. But I will say this, and it's something that stared me in good fast. We can't change other people's perceptions. We can't change how the system sort of works at the moment. What we can do is just help ourselves. And I think one of the things that, even though I used to get so mad, even though I used to get so upset, because people were very brutal, especially in front of my son with me, which used to make me feel like I wanted to murder them, quite honestly, because I'm like, say it to my face, but don't say that kind of thing in front of my child, you know. And I think the thing that kind of pulled me back, and I wish I'd known this earlier, is opinions are like noses. Everyone's got one, but their nose is not your nose. And it sounds really frivolous, but at the end of the day, if that's their opinion and that's what they think and they have that belief system running in them, that's painful as it is, that's okay, it's theirs, it's not yours, it's not how you're going to raise your child. And just know that your child is going to be growing up in an environment where they will be able to think for themselves and make their own decisions about what they believe, because they've actually been on part of this journey with you. So as difficult as it is, you're actually paving the way for change with your kid. So yeah, just remember, noses, opinions, it's theirs, not yours.